Great. Um, Today we'll cover encrypted text field, auto number, pick list multiple, and if time permits, we're going to cover field dependency and tracking history. Okay, so once we log in, so yesterday and previous session we have seen what are all the different data types like text area long, text area rich, and phone number, email, external ID, how to make a field as external ID and unique fields. These are all we have seen. So if I think I logged into the wrong org. So when you hear about something called encrypted, so you have any idea what is encryption and what it does? Let's say if you have any sense to it, even in your WhatsApp chat groups also, you see when you chatting with some new person, you will get a notification or a small message. Let's say it's end-to-end encrypted. That means what it does actually was when it's storing in its database, it will not store directly. It will do some kind of a masking. What we need is, let's say if we have any text like about customer, so if you encrypt this one, so it will be a different kind of a text. It will be not exactly about customer, so it will be some random numbers and some zigzag numbers and different symbols, and it will become a much more bigger, and it looks like it's not understandable. So they will be having a key, and with that key they will convert all these characters to a in a different form, and that will be a encrypted form. So when it's stored in the database, it will be having a key with what it's going to use to encrypt the data, and that we can control in the org. But in system there will be one key. Using that key it will encrypt the data what you are storing as encrypted data, and it will store. And at the points when you need to read the actual data, then you have to use the same key to decrypt it. So that's what, like, even in the database, the person who reads the database also cannot see the data when it's a encrypted. Only when they know the key, then only they can decrypt it. So like when we use encryption, so when you save or store a sensitive data like your personal information like Aadhaar and any kind of license numbers, or if you having a kind of passwords or something really sensitive, or like bank account number, anything, like if you feel that's going to sensitive to the uh, um, other people who are looking at the data, and it's going to risk, then we can use encrypted data fields and encrypted text fields, so that either you can completely mask that fields, or at least you can unmask some of the last digits, or some of the digits you can unmask, and you can mask the part of your data, so that um, we are not going to share or display all the sensitive data to the all users. We are showing only the part of it, or completely we're hiding it. Okay, let's see. We have this one, right? So once you have a new custom field created, then the last third one is the text encrypted. So if I select that one, and let's say GST number for the customer, even though it's not a sensitive, but still I'm trying to make it as a sensitive to see um, how it's going to be. So here I'm giving it 255. Let's see what error it gives. And here mask type, mask all characters, last four characters clear, credit card number, national insurance number, society, social security number, insurance number. I'm just using a last four characters as a clear mask characters with. So you want to mask with star or a cross symbol. Just I want to give it as a cross symbol. So this is how the data will look like. And I'm going to save next. So if you observe, so encryption text field, you have maximum size of 175, not more than that. That's why I have given 255. Okay, so this is also one thing you have to remember. Encrypted text fields should have a maximum size of 175. Then next, say, okay. Now let's see how that encrypted field looks. So already having a project, and we have the field GST number. So let's say my GST number is something like this. I'm just saving it. So if you look here, so it's look like it everything is masked and 1 2 3 4. Even though you edit it, it will be still same. You cannot see the data. So only thing was you can see only this. Okay, who can see? So who are having permissions, that is view and edit encrypted data. Only people with that permission only can see the data. So let's say our what's our profile name? System administrator, right? Here, system administrator. So here, manage encryption keys, view encrypted data. So I have to what it is. Okay, these are the standard profiles. We cannot do. Just I'm cloning it. I've cloned the profile. New profile. I want to clone it from a system administrator, and I want to this time saving it to the system admin with a different name. View encrypted data. Edit. So view encrypted data. When you check this box, only those profile only can see the encrypted data. I'm saving this profile. App permission, subject permission. Okay, so let's see whether we are able to change a profile of the other user. I cannot change mine. Why? Because I am the first user in the org, so I cannot change anything on mine. And at least one user should have a standard system administrator profile. So we have other thing, right? Team. So let's try if we can save or change profile of this user. Okay, great. Reset password, login. It's not done. So I want to explain one feature here. So if you go to your profile and settings, then you have advanced user details, not here. Grant account login access. So if you see here, so you can do your company's administrator. So what it does was, so when you're looking at a users, even we can log in as a other users only when the other users has set this information like this. Grant access to a company administrator, like means the administrators on the same org, you can allow them to log in as your user. And the second one is Salesforce support. Uh, I remember in the starting of the session we have explained when we raise some support cases to the Salesforce from here, get support. So that means we are seeking some help from the Salesforce. So then what they do was they try to impersonate as us. So how they log into us, I mean log into our organization. So once we have grant access, then only they can log in our organization and can check what is the actual issue and they can provide a solution. So in that case, we need to grant them access like this, grant login access and save. Then only when we raise a support case, then the Salesforce support can log in. So how many days you see here? Till the time they can see. If you think your case has resolved and you no longer want to anybody want to see here, then remove it to a no access. And the second thing was your administrator. Even though if you have administrator privileges in your org, you cannot log in as other user until unless the other users has set or allow you to log in. So how the other users can allow you to log in? They have to go to the profile and go to the grant access, grant account login access. And for administrator, they have to give at least some time. So how long they can log in as you and see the data. Once you set this, then only they can log in as you and see how. So then how it becomes is it becomes how the other person is log in and see. It will be same as how if they log in to the system. We'll cover it tomorrow, and we'll check that encrypted data also how it looks if it is visible. I mean if it is the user is having a view encrypted data, then they should be able to see this data when they're trying to edit it. Not all the time, only when they're trying to edit it. Okay. um, so any questions here? Why? Because on system administrator we cannot change the profile. That's why I did for other profile and assign to the other user. That's why like we're not able to test it now, and make a note, and tomorrow we're going to cover it. Okay, moving on to the next one. Let me know if you have any questions. Now, next field is an auto number. So auto number, the name itself suggests it's a auto. That means it will automatically create that number. A system generated sequence number that uses a display format you define. The number is automatically incremented from each new record. Okay, that means it will generate a number basically, and it is a series of number. It's not a random number, it's not a unique, it is a series of number. That means if you give like one, if you create one record, it will give one. If you create second record, it will be two. Like that, whoever it creates, like even it's you or somebody else, whoever in the org creating a records in that object, it will assign a new number, a sequence of numbers to that field. So if you're trying to have a unique data or something that will be a different from other record, so you can use it as an identifier. And so instead of generating some other keys or using external data, some external system, you can generate some unique keys in your object itself using a auto number. So I'm selecting auto number. Let's see how it works. So I'm saying, so this is a project ID. I'm going to show it as a project ID. And how should be a display format? So in the example, you can see that it should be a colon, I mean a dash, and you have a series. So how it should be is whatever you type like this. So whatever all this curly braces and numbers, that will be going to your series. So if you start save, and if it's looking at the records, it will be a dash 000, and next record will be a dash 001. Okay, it's not something like a. I want to add something unique to it. So how I can? So what can I do was you can make it as a years as well. That means what is the current year, and if you want to keep it like what should be the month and what should be the date. So so that you have a track that what are all the projects that are created on so and so date. Also you can have an idea. So just I'm looking at the documentation. So you see here, that's how it will be. So there's going to be a sequence. You have a 4-digit year or 2-digit year or 2-digit month, 2-digit date. So you can have anything combination like this. So you have only year, month, date, and any hard-coded text and a sequence. That's what the part of your auto number formatting. So yes, I'm trying to use everything here so that you'll be knowing it. So I'm using everything, and then so it's saying generate auto number for the existing records. So you are creating now. Uh, Before you created this field, you might already have a records. Then it will not populate the data if you are not checking this box. If you check this box, then only it will auto populate for existing data. You have to remember. Let's say you don't want to start the sequence from the zero. So you want to start the sequence number from somewhere around 4500. Just I'm giving a random number, so just to have a look. So it's a 5-digit number. I'm giving a starting number as a 45,000. So first record will be a 45,000, then 45,001, 2, like that will continue. Okay, so this field is used to generate unique project ID for each project record. So I don't think they don't need any help text here, but when they're looking at the data view, they might need a help. So this is your project ID. So it's something which is generated by the system, right? So when you look at the edit page, you will not see this field, even though it's on the layout. You cannot see this field when it is in the edit page. Okay, you can make external ID also. Auto number also you can make it as an external ID. Then moving on. Next, say listing records may take a few minutes. Click OK to start auto number generation. Okay. So usually like when you're having like thousands and millions of records, right? Then it's run in a backend, kind of a batch. So it will process and you will get a notification whether it is completed generating the auto numbers for the existing records. In our case, we have very less data. I don't think it will take much time. Let's see. So if you look at project ID, it has generated. And see, there is a no edit symbol. So we cannot edit this field. Let's see if we are trying to edit whether it's giving us a permission or allowing us to change. No, it's just a read-only field. We cannot change this field from anywhere. Okay, let's see. There's so many options here. If you look at the clone means it will copy the exact data and populate in your new form. So it's see every field is being populated here, and see the project ID is not generated. It will be generated only if you click on a save. And this is encrypted data, so I don't have an encrypted view permission. That's why I don't see any data copied here because it's encrypted. I cannot see it. So I want to give like something a different number for the GSTN number, and I want to just make some changes to the data so that it will be easy when we have other things. Okay, done. See here, now this ID become 45,001. So the everything is remain same for today. Today, how many records you create, the everything, the first part of the order number will be same, only the series will increase. When you start tomorrow, then the sequence will continue. Let's say today you created 2 records, right? Tomorrow, when you create next record, this date will become 28, remaining everything will be same, and it will become 45,002. So how many records will you create today? The next is a sequence will continue, it will go on, but only these changes will change when there is a new date comes. That's all order number. So I'm going to give you an assignment that summarize what are all the fields that we can make as an external ID. That's going to your task for tomorrow. So we have already seen, like when we're creating a fields, we see some of the fields we see the external ID as a checkbox. So tomorrow come up with a list. What are all the fields is external ID enabled fields. That means we can enable as an external ID for that field. Okay, moving on. Pick list. Pick list in the name itself, it suggests it's something from the list you can pick. That means it's not a free text field. You cannot enter whatever you want. You can only pick the values that you already configured while creating a field. Let's see. I'm selecting a pick list field and I'm doing a next. So here I want to create something called a city. And you see 2 options here. One is a global pick list value and enter values. Let's use for now as a values. So city, I'm just giving some cities for now. So whatever in a single line will be treated as a one value. Hyderabad, Chennai, Pune, Kolkata. Okay, I'm giving a wrong spelling. I want to skip this. So Delhi. Let's say I have given 4 cities, and here display values in alphabetical, do in order entered. So if you want to keep it in the given order, then keep it unchecked. If you want to always keep it as an alphabetical order, then check this box. So if you want to keep any of the want to keep the first value as a default, then check this box. Otherwise, leave it. So restrict pick list values, define the value select. This is what in the starting I said, like the pick list value will be, you need to select only the values that can be picked from the list. But there is an option, we can allow the other values as well, other than this drop down or defined list. We can allow them to give a different values as well. But from the UI you cannot do. From the backend you can do. If you uncheck this box, you can allow other users or like users to give a different values other than, apart from this list. Let's say if create not only from a UI, even you can create records from a backend or from a program or from other systems where you have integration, or like any other parts of your automation creation of records. There also you can get not on, you will not only use a UI, there's other ways of creating a records as well. We'll go to that next, but from the UI only, from UI you can only select these values even if you check this box or not check. But if you uncheck this box from the backend, you can use a different values other than this list. If you check this box, always it will allow you to give these values only. It will not allow you to give any other values. It will only restrict it to the list what you have configured. Okay, I'm not giving this restriction for now. And this field is used to store the city of the customer here. So previously, if you observe, previously I used a enter, now I'm using a select, so city of the customer. Done. Next. Save. Okay. Now moving on to the next one, we have one more thing called a global pick list that will cover. What is a multi-select? So pick list multi-select. This one, let's say technology technology used. So what technology used in a project? That means the platform. So I'm saying some different Salesforce, giving Apex, I'm giving something or Java, C++, Python. So I'm keeping it as a restricted pick list value. Same options you see, but you see some more options is a visible lines. That means it's a multi-select, right? So how many lines you want to display? So I'm keeping it as a 4 lines for now. Field used to store the technology used by customer. Here, select the tech used for customers. So I'm not checking other required. I'm adding it to the custom report types and then next value. Done. Let's look at how it's look like. It got saved. Just refreshing to see. Say we see a project. So I not added to the layout or what? Technology is okay. It is here. Okay. So if you see the drop down, you can see the city, and when you see the pick list value, multi-select. So here how it will be look like. So you have a two boxes from the left is available and right is a chosen values. If you save, so how it is going to store is a semicolon separated values. So when you use in a backend for a multi-select field, when you have a multiple values to select, you have to store it like a semicolon separated values. And if you have multiple values, it will be semicolon separated. So let's say I'm trying to keep it as a single value and see how it will be. So there will be like it will be similar to how it is the other fields without any symbols. So when we have a multiple values, then only you will be having the semicolon separator. Otherwise, you don't see it. Even when you query in the backends also, you will see the data like this. Okay, now let's see what is a global so we see, right, when we're trying to create, there is a one more option we have seen in the when you see a pick list and multi-select pick list. So what is it? Global select pick list values. Yeah, the two ways we can create a global pick list value. You can directly um, you can directly create a global pick list value and then use it here, or you can promote any of the existing fields to a global pick list value. That means we have created one field here, right? Let's say city. City, we created a normal pick list value, not a global pick list value. So if you want to promote this values to a global pick list value, then you can do from here. So before going to that, what is a global pick list value? Means it is also a list of values. What you have here like that, it is also a list of values. But thing was, when we have so many projects, so many objects, and so many fields going to use same set of values in the drop down, and when in the future you have some more values is going to add, and let's say you have a city which is in your 100 objects and used in like around 1000 fields, and if a new city is going to add, it will be burden to you to do it 1000 times. So if you feel whenever the list of a drop down that we're going to use in multiple places, then you can promote the value as a global pick list or create a global pick list and use a global pick list in a different pick list fields, so that when you add a new field to the global pick list, it will add to the wherever it has been used already. Okay, let's see what are different ways to do it. So for existing pick list, you have to go to the edit, and there's an option to promote global pick list value. But the problem is you can promote the value only if you restrict the pick list values defined in the value set. Then only you can promote any pick list to a global value set. So before it is a disabled. Now when I check this box and save, then only it's allowing me to promote to a global value set. Okay, I'm going to give it the name it as a city, and I'm not giving a description here and promote it. So when I'm trying to create a new field, and I don't need to give a same again, so I have to select a pick list and then do a next, and I'm giving office city, and you can select that field from here and then do a next.